This is National Chess Master Rats at ICC. I'm here to analyze the game between Toukon and Electryon. This was played in Team4545 League. Week 5, it was selected as Game of the Week. Okay, one of the things that goes wrong here for White is, number one, he moved too fast. Number two, he walked right into a book trap. Now, the trap he falls into, I pulled on somebody 40 years ago when I was in high school. I'm sure it was invented even 40 years or longer before that. So if you're not reading your elementary book trap books, well, you need to look them up, okay? Because there's a lot of them. One can lose a game in a hurry. This is one of the reasons I like to see players avoid main lines, because of all the traps you can run into. Well, let's have a look here. And so far, pretty straightforward position. Queen's Gambit declined, exchange variation, and White's about to throw the game away. Now, what's White supposed to do before we look at what he did? Well, e3, knight f3, bishop d3, castle, and then eventually Black will play c6, bishop e7. Oops, not king e7, bishop e7. He'll castle. And White's supposed to start the minority attack. I've covered this in a number of videos already. The idea is to advance the b pawn up to b5. Okay? Now I'm not going to show all. Well, here, I'll just show it. Okay. Let's show it. Let's get some use out of this video. Okay. It kind of goes something like this. Let's see. Okay, this is the minority attack in action. What White wants to do is advance his pawn to b5. And the idea is, if Black takes, there's an isolated pawn on d5, a weakness for White to play against. And if Black doesn't take, White will exchange on c6. And there's a backward pawn on the open file. Now, what's poor Black supposed to do? Well, he's supposed to do the same thing on the other side of the board. Conduct his own minority attack, and here it comes. Alright? Now, Black's trying to play a pawn to f4, and if White takes, White has an isolated d-pawn, and if White doesn't take, Black takes on e3, and White has an open pawn, or a backward pawn on the open file. Sounds simple, right? Well, if you don't follow this plan, then you can run into trouble in a hurry. There's a game on my YouTube playlist, if you dig, how to play the chess openings. The third video, I show a game where I played the white side of this, and my opponent didn't understand how he was supposed to do the minority attack, and he started conducting some operations on the king side. And all I did was do what I was supposed to do, advance my queen side pawns, and didn't do anything other than that, other than what I was supposed to do. No original ingenious thought on my part. Well, my opponent self-destructed and left himself with a lost game. And the only reason not the only reason I won it, but the reason I won it was because he didn't understand what he was supposed to do, and he went for the wrong plan. Anyway, let's revert back to the position. Now let's look at the clocks. They both gained some time on the clock, and at this point, White falls into a book trap. It looks logical. You know, this knight is pinned, and what they say is the defensive power of a pinned piece is purely imaginable. Was that Nimzovich? I think it was. Okay, so White sees this pawn's on the take. Hey, I can take a pawn. And he takes it. Now let's see how much time he spends. Let's back it up. Okay, he gained 18 seconds. So it means that he spent 27 seconds on this move. And since he had most of his time, maybe he should have analyzed a little further. White says, well, Black can't take my knight because I take his queen. Well, surprise. Boom. Book trap. Now look at White. He's down a piece, right? if he retreats his bishop, that's what he is. He's down a piece. So white grabs the queen, and here's the move that white missed. I remember even doing this to my dad one time. It was funny. He couldn't believe it. Anyway, white has one legal move. Give back the queen. And now black is a piece ahead. White has a lost game and could safely resign. But white says, well, I'll play out. Okay, so it gets interesting here in a little bit. All black has to do is just trade off material into and win the ending because he's up a piece. Here he takes a square away from the black knight. I kind of like that. Okay. Now, white's pawns look advanced, but there's this gaping hole here, and this isn't good for white. Better have left his pawns back. But black commits a really bad move. I mean, I don't want to say bad move, but I did. He plays a bad move here. Okay, the simple thing is that black is up a piece. Okay, white has a pawn for it. Now, let's try to make heads and tails out of this, and you'll see what I mean. Let's count the black pieces. There's 4 of them, right? Okay. Now, there's 3 white pieces. Now let's look at the point count. Black's up 2 points. Okay, you can see that here by their names. Electryon 1563 has 22 points. This is pawn count chess, and toukon has 20 points. Okay, what's going to happen is he's going to maintain this 2-point advantage, but he gives away a lot to do it. The simple winning maneuver is just connect the rooks, bring the king over to b7, swing the rook to c8, and pry the c file open. There's nothing white can do. Absolutely nothing. Instead, black gets tricky. And like I say, this is a bad move. No matter which knight white takes, there's going to be a knight fork. You say picks this one. And there you have it. Now, if you look at the pawn count or point count, black's still up 2 points, 16 to 14. So you say, well, he's just traded down. Well, here's the serious error he made. Remember when I counted the pieces? I said black had 4, white had 3. Now they both have 2. It's better to be down an exchange or quality than to be down a piece for a pawn, because black's going to miss that extra piece. You see, the extra piece can do things. It can attack a pawn, and you can get 4 attackers on it. The other side can only get 3 defenders on it. Yes, black's still winning, but he's made it difficult on himself. Okay? Anyway, so I think it was a bad choice to do this, and I hope those that watch this don't go do the same thing. Now, you could argue that the attrition is going to wear white down. Yes, this is true. But you're making it tougher on yourself when you do this, and you're just one bad move from throwing this game away. You lose all your winning chances just by mistake. So you want to keep the extra piece. Granted, the rook's worth more than the knight. We know that, but it's the same number of pieces, and it's just technique here. He takes away f5, and now black starts busting open the position, daring him to take to activate his en passant, so he can. Here, let's just show you. Activate the king. This pawn's a goner, and the rooks are getting active. I don't know. It just seemed a little sloppy, but it's okay. All right. So moving right along, black just carefully maneuvers, but now notice black has two attackers and white has 2 defenders. The king is helping, so black can't overwhelm white. He's going to have to break the position open. So Gets the knight out. Now let's see. It just doesn't smell right. What about this move? Well, then you're still going to get c5 in. You can't play d5 because e5 falls. Yeah, Black's just got his way here. Anyway. There's really nothing White can do here. See, now Black's still 2 points up, 2 pawns up, 14 to 12, and White's got an outside pawn majority, but it's not going anywhere. Pin the knight, activate the king. You know, it's just a routine win, but you know, Black could have been winning much easier. We'll go back and look at that in a minute. Now the Black king just comes into the camp, and White's not long for this world. Now the knight's trapped, and White resigned. So this is going to be one of the shorter videos I've made in a while. I used to always make them 15 minutes. Let's see. Let's just go back when he played knight takes f5. That was at move 20, so back 62. That should get us there. 62 half moves. Okay, and go back one more. What else should, like I said, what? This is what Black should have done. What can White do? Well, if he pushes f6, he's just going to pitch a pawn. This knight has no scope over here. So the only place Black has any activity is on the c file, right? If you play rook c2, you might pitch a pawn to knight b4. You know, unless White can trap that silly knight. Let's see. Wait, I don't want to move that. Hang on. Okay, rook here. Whoops. Rook c2, knight b4. Is this worth anything? Take. Now the knight's trapped. Ah, okay. So maybe rook c2 has some, could bait Black into making a mistake. Okay, but then, you know, White's about done all he can do here. Okay, he's got this nice pawn center. His king is centralized. His knight's on a defensive mode, but eventually Black probably going to push c5, and White would like to get a knight into d6. But you know, it's just bad news for White, this position. Let's see. Let's put the. I'm going to try and transfer this knight. Trying to find a better square. Well, Black needs to support c5, so here's how we do it. Bingo. And knight b3 to stop c5, if it even stops it. See, White has 4 attackers on it. Black has 3 defenders. I don't know. I don't think White's long for this world. I mean, I'm just kind of playing around here. Black could have played an a5 earlier. Let's see. a5 would have just given him a little more board room. But you know, we've got this wonderful hole. Let's just go back and take it. You know, it's a wonderful square, nice outpost. And we'll play here. I don't know if it's going anywhere. So you know, it's still going to require some technique, but eventually Black's going to bust through. Let's back up. I think it's back 17. That should do it. f5. I was saying c5. What if we put the rook on c8 right away? Black doubles. White plays here. Let's see. This could cost a pawn. Yeah, that drops a pawn. You don't no need to drop the pawn. I still like this idea. Let's go back to this, and we got to get these guys connected. Okay, what else can Black do? Well, let's play this move. Like I was suggesting this move earlier, and this might get played sooner or later. I was trying to get this knight into play. Yeah, Black's just ahead a piece. What if we... No, we can't play there. F6 undermines. You know what? Maybe White has some compensation here. So something's gone wrong with Black's game. Something's gone wrong. Okay. Okay, this is forced. Now here. This is fine. Okay, that's fine. Attacking. Okay, it looked like Black was just trying to trade wood. This seemed to create some weaknesses. Let's see. Maybe knight f4 is just not good. Why not come back here, attack the pawn, and if you advance it, you get this great outpost. Okay, and let's protect it, and let's attack it again. Let's protect it. Is this check worth anything? Now let's break open the center. We don't mind giving you a pass pawn because, whoa, look at that outpost. Okay, so White gets aggressive. No, you can't. Knight takes and your e4 drops. So bishop comes back here, and then Black plays this nice move, g5. Okay, the idea is to restrain f4. And, White has a pass pawn, but come on, it's not going anywhere. There's a knight check on c4 sitting there. So this is going to have to come back here. But then you get this check. Where are you going to go? You take that. Looks like it. Yeah. I think knight f4 is a little over ambitious. But anyway, this was game of the week. What can I say? Congrats to both players, and make sure you save. If you nominate a game, save it in your library. This one almost didn't get made. Okay, it's not hard. All right. If you nominate a game, save it in your library with time stamping. Thanks. Take care.